Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, this is according to a report put out by the New York Times. In the article, they say in Florida, Mr. Fisk, who is a member of AIPAC and is from South Florida, he said that it was time for quote-unquote pro-Jewish voices to speak up about Mrs. Omar and the other two Democratic freshmen who have been critical of Israel. Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. And he offered a prediction, quote-unquote, they are three people who, in my opinion, will not be around in 7 years. Or in several years. That's problematic. Because, now, correct me if I'm wrong, the whole argument being made against Ilhan Omar is that money from Israel via lobbies is not used to prop up candidates, prop up a message, to let Israel's government skate by with human rights atrocities. That money isn't being used for politics. That's what they say. That politicians are not at all influenced by the resources and finances of AIPAC and other Israeli lobbies. So I have a question, Mr. Fisk. Now, this just could be me being naive. But how exactly are you going to get them out of Congress? Because although the dinos, if you will, the senior Congress people may not like AOC, Rashida Tlaib, or Ilhan Omar's comments regarding Israel, I'm interested to know how that's different from every other issue that they don't see eye to eye with those three women. Those women already don't like, or those women are already not liked by the majority of the Democratic Congress people, because those Congress people are neoliberal and they're not. That's kind of the whole thing between them. They keep trying to put Nancy Pelosi beside them, but it doesn't make her any more progressive or any less neoliberal. They have always been at odds. So it's not like their unpopularity in Congress is going to stop them from winning back office. So what exactly are you planning on doing, Mr. AIPAC lobbyist, sir? Could it be that you plan on spending money? You plan on spending money to influence political outcomes via your very influential lobbying group that so happened to be called AIPAC, that Ilhan just so happened to call out for doing just that. You can't make this stuff up, people. Think about that. Their whole argument against Ilhan Omar is that she is associating money with political support. We can even ignore the country. That's their whole problem. They say, oh, you shouldn't say that there's some type of dual loyalty because of money that flows into certain politicians via favors, financial support, or otherwise. But then this person, Mr. Fisk, has no other way to influence political outcomes. Like I said, they're already disliked amongst their senior Congress members because they're progressive. They're already disliked. So what are you going to do? You're going to try to run candidates against them. By doing what? Making them political promises. I mean, this is giving them political favors, financial, otherwise. That's what Ilhan Omar was talking about. And anyone who, look at what happened to Cynthia McKinney. Hell, I think even George H.W. Bush got beat after he called out Israel. Like, it was like his numbers dropped because AIPAC started running campaigns against him. Running ads against him. That's what Ilhan, Rashida Tlaib, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is talking about. And AOC has probably been the least ferocious when it comes to critiquing Israel. After she got elected anyway, her critiques before she got elected were totally different. But all she said was, why can't we question it? And they're like, oh, wait a minute now. No, you're not questioning AIPAC. That's out of the window. I want you to think about something. Imagine
getting at here, but what do they do to try to dismiss her and shut down debate? They call her anti-Semitic. Now, you would think that after seeing the harassment she received, seeing the poster, linking her to the 9/11 terrorist attack, her colleagues in the House, especially Democrats, would be extra cautious in speaking about this issue and not trying to condemn her, because anything can possibly be seen as fanning the flames of hate against Ilhan Omar. But did they do that? No. In fact, they were especially harsh against her this time around, even more so than last time, because you had Representative Juan Vargas calling her comments anti-Semitic and saying it's unacceptable to even question our country's relationship with Israel. He also called on her to apologize. You have Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a serial election meddler, trying to both sides of the situation in the same way that Nita Lowey did, and collectively you now have House Democrats taking action against her because of this. And as Politico reports, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and top Democrats will take floor action Wednesday in response to controversial remarks by Representative Ilhan Omar about Israel, the second such rebuke of the freshman Democrat from party leaders in recent weeks. A resolution on the floor, regardless of whether it specifically mentions Omar, would be a rare public reprimand from House speakers, particularly against a member of their own party, and speaks to the seriousness with which Democratic leaders view the ongoing controversy. So the takeaway here is that criticism of Israel is just simply not allowed. You are not allowed to criticize the Israeli government and the crimes that they commit against the Palestinian people unless you want to be labeled as someone who is anti-Semitic. That's the takeaway here. Ilhan Omar is being silenced by Democrats who were just celebrating her electoral success in November. They were saying, we're so excited to have a Muslim woman of color representative in Congress because your voice matters. We need your voice because it's lacking. People like you don't have representation. Well, what happens? She gets to Congress, speaks out, and then everyone tells her to shut up. It's disgusting. So understand, Democrats are jumping on this bandwagon specifically because they don't want to offend one of their biggest donors, AIPAC. That's what this is about. It's not about whether or not they care about anti-Semitism. They don't care about that. They care about getting that money from AIPAC, which is not a representative of the average Jewish American or Jewish person. It's an organization that lobbies on behalf of the Israeli government and their geopolitical dominance in the Middle East and North Africa, and it isn't bankrolled by Jewish people at large. It's also funded by American oligarchs and evangelicals. So to say that AIPAC is a synonym for Jewish person is deeply offensive. As Katie Halper says, it's a trope in and of itself, but that's what they're using to shut down debate with regard to this issue. So there's just absolutely no room for nuance here. You can't have a thorough discussion here, a genuine debate about ideas. It's all a dogpile on Ilhan Omar to tell her to shut up. And what Democrats don't realize is the same individuals, the fake feminists like Nancy Pelosi, who claim to care about women, what they're doing here with this resolution to condemn Ilhan Omar is paving the way for and legitimizing attacks like this.
I'm going to say it. She is filth. She has no place in the Congress. She has no place on the Foreign Affairs Committee. It's outrageous that Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, the most powerful Democrat in America, appears on Rolling Stone hand in hand with her smiling this week. It's outrageous.
That was Donald Trump's campaign advisor calling one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress filth. Not even hiding their racism. And this is the exact types of attacks that Democrats who are dogpiling on Ilhan Omar rather than defending her against harassment and hate are currently legitimizing. So they should all be coming to her defense after seeing what she has to put up with, the harassment and whatnot, but because she threatens the status quo by having a conversation about a topic that has previously been taboo, well, they don't even care how it looks. They want to get her to shut up. Sorry, we don't care if you've been harassed and if you have death threats written on the gas stations in your district. We just want you to shut up and not talk about this issue because it's inconvenient for us and it may offend one of our biggest donors. It's absolutely despicable, and I just want Ilhan Omar to know that real progressives, we actually do stand with you, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, because you're not just fighting for American people, but you're having to put up with something that few lawmakers have had to deal with, in American history, and it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. I truly feel for her, and she's got to be protected at all costs, because I worry about her safety, and I worry that Democrats don't even care that they're fanning the flames at this point. Disgusting.